Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Scorpio March 2018 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, people, first up is, well, as far as March goes, the Sun will be in Pisces from the 1st until the 20th. So the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time, well, there could be a lot of this concentration of power, attention, and focus into a compassion, idealism, and imagination in their love relationships. It could be matters connected with children, a lot of self-sacrifice involved with them, perhaps a lot of perhaps also dealing with chaotic situations in one's love life, situations that might be very confounding and confusing, and really in some cases deception as well. It could also be a time too where one may be more about putting energy into fantasizing about love relationships and maybe creative endeavors and perhaps even hobbies rather than really doing anything with them. And it could also be a time as far as hobbies go where one may put a lot of this energy into a Pisces-like hobbies. It could be such as the metaphysical, which includes astrology. It could be dancing, poetry, chemistry, photography as some examples. Anyway, next thing up is as far as March goes, the Sun will be in Aries from the 20th until the 31st. So the 6th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, this could be about putting a lot of focus, attention, concentration of power into perhaps aggression, assertiveness, courage, and fortitude in their employment, taking the initiative, perhaps in health-related matters. It could be a time where there might be more of this concentration of energy put into confrontation as well, and in combative situations, perhaps with employees, people that are prominent in one's work life, and even those that might be in one's daily routine at this time. And even this could be a time too about taking maybe more action in terms of even situations with pets. If there's a pet that's ill, for example, doing something about it at this time, or even really being more spontaneous and extemporaneous in work and health related matters at this time. Remember, when the Sun is an energy, this is a very energetic placement for the Sun, and this could be about really putting a very strong abundance of energy into 6th house matters at this time. So anyway, and it could even be of being in service to others as well. So anyway, next thing up is the full moon. It'll be a full moon in Virgo on March 1st. So the 11th house as well be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, Scorpio might become tired and full of, so to speak, of a rather hypercritical, judgmental, and pedantic friend or acquaintance. It could be a time where Scorpio unleashes this strong, powerful, emotional energy and even critical, and even being critical of these acquaintances and friends that may be critical of them at this time. This could also be a time too for Scorpio where something that might be health or work related, a goal or aspiration reaches a culmination or conclusion. It could be much analysis of one's future comes to an end, and it might be time where Scorpio decides maybe to do something about it. The analysis, the analyzing might come to an end of this at this point, and it might be even some analysis connected with a goal, an objective, an aspiration, or even a friend or acquaintance at this time, in which this analysis might have gone on for some time, and you've maybe come to a conclusion and made maybe a Scorpio-like character analysis of this person at this time. And Scorpios can often be really very adept at understanding the character composition of others, and it could be after all this analysis that this is actually maybe coming to a conclusion. So anyway, Well, the next thing up is the new moon, be a new moon in Pisces on March 17th. So the fifth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, well, Scorpio might begin perhaps, it could be a new romance that has a lot of really gone about with a lot of idealism, altruism, compassion, and self-sacrifice. In some cases, it could be with a Pisces sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply somebody that embodies Pisces-like characteristics. This could be also in some cases the birth of a child that is a Pisces, especially if it happens right at this this moment when, of course, the new moon is actually in Pisces. This could be about the birth of a Pisces. And also another thing too is this could also be about the beginning of a new Pisces like hobby perhaps that Scorpio embarks on at this time. It could be something connected with photography, the metaphysical, astrology, chemistry, even oceanography. Something could be magic, illusion, poetry, something that could be Pisces related at this time. So anyway, well, the next thing up is that really Mercury will be in Pisces as far as March goes from the 1st until the 6th. So the fifth house is again is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, there might be more idealistic thinking in regards to romantic partners at this time. It could be with children. At the same time, Scorpio needs to be careful about being more gullible in matters connected with children and love and romance at this time, because Scorpio usually is not manipulated that easily, as usually it's the other way around. They're the ones usually doing that. But in this case, when you have Mercury and Pisces energy, even Scorpio could be a little bit more susceptible to being deceived at this time than usual. And a lot of decisions connected with creative endeavors, it could be making a choice in a hobby, matters with children and love. This could be, and even things connected with gambling and speculation might be done with a little bit more intuition at this time than usual. And there might be more, Scorpio might be more involved with giving children and people that are in their love. It could be a love romantic partner, more short journeys at this time, and doing so with a lot of that Pisces like self-sacrificing energy. And really in the communications with things, people connected with the fifth house might be a little bit more ambiguous and cryptic than usual at this time. So anyway, next thing up is Mercury will be in Aries as far as March goes from the 6th until the 31st. So the 6th house is will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, well, this could be a time for Scorpio where they may be little bit more, might be more aggressive and outspoken communications, perhaps with people in their workplace. That could be with fellow employees, people in their daily routine, people that figure prominently in one's health life at this time. This could be a time, Mercury in Aries, of course, is very, could be very combative communication. So the communications can be combative with people connected with the 6th house at this time, and more so than usual. Also, too, it might be where really where Scorpio at this time may incorporate more original and pioneering thinking into their work life, and they might come up with some ideas at their workplace, and it might even, and at this time too, this energy is very, Mercury, and you're talking about the 6th house. This is where Scorpio might be surprisingly more loquacious and talkative in their daily routine than usual, and really speaking in their statements might be very spontaneous and very abrupt at this time, and more talkative too in their work life perhaps. And Scorpio is generally generally tends to be very quiet and be very taciturn and doesn't really talk much, but surprisingly Scorpio may be this way more at their workplace than usual. And also, as far as March goes, Mercury will be retrograde in Aries from the 23rd until the 31st. So at the same time, Scorpio may be talking to people connected with the 6th house and really in an outspoken, forthright manner, but at the same time, might review a little bit more before actually speaking. So anyway, next thing up is, well, Venus will be in Pisces as far as March goes from the 1st until the 6th. So the 5th house is will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. At this time for Scorpio, Scorpio needs to be careful perhaps of a deceptive charm, a beguiling charm from people that are in, it could be a love romantic partner, it could be just, it could be from a child, perhaps somebody that maybe they enjoy hobbies with or creative endeavor with. And also, too, this is a time, too, where Scorpio might be involved with unrealistic spending on things of a speculative nature, whether it's stocks or whether it's something connected with gambling. It really, this is also a time, too, where, I mean, if Scorpio is unattached, they might actually find some kind, this could be a time to find perhaps that perspective significant other romantic partner. It could be a sun, moon, or ascendant in Pisces, or simply somebody that embodies those characteristics. It could be at some entertainment venue. It could be at some kind of gambling casino, some kind of theater, at a movie somewhere, or a place where children happen to be congregating, just where it could be families going out with children, and maybe Scorpio meets somebody that has could be divorced or separated and doesn't have their significant other, might have a child. It could be something something like that. So anyway, well, the next thing up is that Venus, as far as March goes, will be in Aries from the 6th until the 31st. So the 6th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So for Scorpio at this time, this could be a time where, I mean, you're talking about Venus and the 6th house. Okay, I understand when people are at work, they generally are going to be making money. But because Venus is involved with the 6th house in this example, this could be a time where maybe Scorpio might come into a little bit more money than usual at this time for something work-related. It could even be something that could be that's service related, or something, and it could also, it could be connected. This could be this work could be connected with something Aries like. It could be something with firefighting or some kind of police work, or just something that might be Aries related, something where maybe leadership is shown at this time, and something that might involve a lot of courage and fortitude at their workplace. This could also be a period where there might be some very abrupt, spontaneous, like spending that might happen in connection with one's health at this time as well. So, I mean, Venus and Aries, I mean, could be very impulsive and impetuous regarding spending habits, and it might even be more also incorporated in their daily routine at this time. So, anyway, next thing up is Mars will be in Sagittarius at this, as far as March goes, from the 1st until the 17th. So the 2nd house is will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, this could be about perhaps putting a lot of energy into reckless, foolhardy spending, and might be spending done it really done in a way, like I stated, could be very foolhardy, and really Scorpio needs to be careful at this time as far as their spending goes. So this is something too where you look at this as well, that this could be about Scorpio doing something exercise related, working out vigorously, and putting a lot of energy into this to improve self-worth and self-esteem at this time. There might be more of the situation, perhaps with people at the place where they generate money at, might be more contentious and acrimonious than usual, and the arguments might be flavored with this Sagittarius-like veritable truth. And anyway, this could also be too about putting, really, it could be philosophical differences as well that really that Scorpio might have with people at that place that they make money at. It could be also where Scorpio puts a lot of enthusiastic and exuberant energy into perhaps matters where they try to improve the self-esteem, self-worth, and also this is about energy into things that might be of value to them as well at this time. So anyway, next thing up is, well, Mars will be in Capricorn as far as March goes from the 17th until the 31st. So the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, this is a time where there could be very strong period of mental and physical activity. This could also be a time where you look at this, this could be a period where the situation with siblings and neighbors, if applicable, might be more contentious and acrimonious than usual. It could be a lot of energy, perhaps into government work, maybe in the community with neighbors, such as like, you know, when you see people going around with signs in their community and they're trying to support a certain candidate, something like that as an example. And also perhaps a lot of consistent, serious and disciplined energy into matters with the daily routine. It could even be working on things connected with transportation, such as vehicles at this time. Also, at this time too, this could be really a period where you look at this Mars and Capricorn energy, and there might be arguments with siblings, with neighbors, people in your daily communications that might be over politics and things that are government related, business related matters, rather serious arguments at this time with those people perhaps. So anyway, well, the next thing up is, well, Jupiter will still be in Scorpio, so the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio at this time. So remember, as I've talked about in previous videos, that Jupiter can be paradoxical. It's very strongly benign and benevolent, but it could also have a tendency and proclivity to enlarge and expand issues. This could expand the waistline in some cases for Scorpio at this time, especially if this is actually going through the literal first house at this time. Now, also too, it could expand the Scorpio characteristics, the good and bad, the good being the resiliency, resourcefulness, the indomitable spirit, the strong willpower of Scorpio, ability to see through a subterfuge, but also it could expand the negative as well, such as the vindictive sometimes qualities, the vengeful qualities, the ones that are very spiteful and manipulative as well. And really, this is a time too where Scorpio can have a lot of good luck and perhaps in fortune, making a major transformation in the general self and perhaps with the physical body as well, and really maybe going about how they make their first impressions on others. But at the same time, what I think, Scorpio can also be more jocular and jovial at this time, making being more, more about joking. But at the same time, keep in mind that you flavor the Scorpio energy. This humor might be somewhat caustic, sarcastic, and somewhat subtle as well. And Jupiter is going to be, as far as March goes, will be retrograde in Scorpio from the 8th until the 31st. So at this time, this could be for Scorpio time to review maybe their philosophy that might be really connected with maybe their general characteristics, such as being resourceful and resilient and really being that phoenix rising from the ashes, so to speak, and battling back from adversity. And also their philosophy, and this could be also a time where their philosophy could be really about maybe creating their own luck, really through their inner fortitude, and also understanding that that's something that comes to an end. Scorpio is about death, and it could be literal and figurative, but that about being an end an end of something can signify new beginnings, as we are talking about the first house of new beginnings. Anyway, next thing up is Saturn will still be in Capricorn, so the third house will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, this could be where Scorpio might feel stronger restrictions and limitations connected with communications at this time, with short journeys. This could also be about gaining structure and discipline in those journeys. This could be too as well, where it could make, and this could also be making maybe as far as restrictions and limitations in communications, maybe it could be making Scorpio feel rather despondent and melancholy as well. And this is about perhaps taking serious responsibility into third house matters, such as short journeys, communications, siblings, and neighbors. Could also be a time, too, in some cases where Scorpio might have to tend or take care of a debilitated neighbor or sibling. It could be something Capricorn related, such as something with the knees or the bones at this time. So, anyway, well, the next thing up is, well, looking at this, Uranus will still be in Aries, so the sixth house will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, well, Scorpio might, their work life and employment might be a little bit sporadic and erratic at this time. Also at this time as well, as far as health related matters, I mean, I have this natally in my chart. I have Uranus, actually I have Uranus almost exactly conjunct my sixth house cusp, and I have issues connected with really like some nerve damage and extensive nerve damage where I get like almost shock sensations at times. I mean, remember Uranus is about electricity. So just be careful not to, Scorpio at this time, not to do anything that might cause some kind of nerve damage. I mean, strong repetitive motion can do this. Excessive vigorous strenuous lifting could be another thing. And also, too, this could be about dealing with some kind of enigmatic or unusual health-related matter at this time. And also, maybe it could be people in your daily routine, in your work and health life it may be showing in some cases some genius or ingenious qualities at this time, or being more unpredictable and maybe exhibiting some kind of unusual behavior. It might even be a pet might be showing some unusual behavior at this time, or maybe you decide to get a pet that might be seen as a little bit bizarre or unusual at this time. And also could be a time to do something work related that might be connected with Uranus, such as something with an esoteric subject, such as astrology. Some other examples, some with computers, electronics, aerospace, astronomy, something that could be Uranus related. Well, next thing up is Neptune will be in Pisces still, so the fifth house will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio might be dealing with more, maybe strong deception and duplicity in their love life at this time. It's also important for Scorpio to remember that, there's a difference between idealism and being unrealistic in love and romance as well at this time. And make sure you're try to see the details in lovers at this time, and also in matters with children as well, if applicable. This could also be about the dissolving and dissipation, sadly, of one's love life. In some sad cases, the connection with the child or children as well at this time as well. And also, it's important to be very be careful of make sure you're seeing the details in matters connected with something of a speculative gambling nature at this time as well. And it could be a time too where Scorpio might might be very people in their love life, it could be in children, might be more nebulous than usual and more unclear. And maybe a time too where Scorpio might be doing something Neptune-like as far as a hobby. It could be something like photography, chemistry, something with illusions such as magic, doing magic tricks, something that and also just could be something they simply enjoy, such as spirituality or something with the metaphysical, which can include astrology. So anyway, next thing up is Pluto will still be in Capricorn, so the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Scorpio, well, I know a lot of you don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but I do it, you know, whenever most of the time anyway, because because I think it needs to be stated, and death is connected with Pluto. In some isolated cases, this could signify perhaps the death of a sibling or a neighbor at this time. This could also be, or even somebody perhaps from your early education. Also at this time, this might be a period of obliteration and destruction of one's communications at this time. Not saying one's going to lose their voice box or stop talking. In some cases, if it's an older person, there could be some difficulties as far as the voice and somebody actually losing that ability to communicate. In some cases, though, but in most cases, no, I don't believe. Also, this could be about power struggles and upheavals with siblings and neighbors at this time. And that being said, now in some isolated cases, it could be that Scorpio might be going through some fear over, I mean, in some cases, terrorism in one's neighborhood, or at least a fear of it at this time, because Pluto does govern that. And also, really, there could be situations where there might be some manipulation going on in matters connected with siblings and neighbors at this time. And also, and it might be even manipulation through short journeys, either where you might say, well, I'm not gonna run this errand for you if you don't do such and such, or maybe it could be the other way around, you know, things of that nature at this time. So anyway, well, the next thing up is the North Node will be in Leo still, so the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, this could be about, well, when the North Node is in transit, it can often be about having to confront issues. And in this case, it could be perhaps having to deal with an arrogant, bombastic, domineering, overbearing, and dominant, perhaps a parent, authority figure at this time, a superior. And also, it's about maybe having to really take pride, being directed toward taking pride and dignity in one's reputation, in one's public image, and perhaps in getting recognition, accolades, and attention for career-related matters, and at least be lauded for them. Even if there's no award to be won, you still would like to get that, at least a figurative pat on the back, so to speak, for those things. And also, it's a time to really maybe be taking pride and dignity in one's standing in the community, and maybe even spending, it might be a case where you have to be more extravagant and spend money in order to maybe achieve some kind of notoriety and recognition at this time. So anyway, and also it could be also about being more generous and magnanimous in matters connected with the dominant parent, which is often the father. So anyway, next thing up is the Black Moon Lilith will still be in Capricorn, so the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, well, this could be a time where this could be an unveiling of a sibling or a neighbor that might be showing some kind of tyrannical, ruthless, overambitious, and very cold, undemonstrative qualities at this time. It could also be where one of these people makes some revelation about maybe just being some kind of limitation, or that is revealed, or something that's very depressing about them comes out at this time. This could also be a time where somebody in your daily communications, or it could be a sibling, or it could be a neighbor, maybe you find out that they're somehow they're using some kind of erotic sexual energy in order to attain their ambitions. Also, could be a time where somehow the cat gets let out of the bag, so to speak, figuratively speaking, regarding you, in terms of maybe having as far as your communications life goes, might be one that's very depressing. It might be very limiting and restricting at this time. So anyway. And obviously being Capricorn can cause a very strong, I mean, sometimes despondency and making you feel rather melancholy and dejected and very pessimistic. So, and it could even be just like a very negative or pessimistic mental outlook in general might be unveiled at this time, whether it's by you or somebody, just kind of or somehow somebody else figures that out and lets it out of the bag, so to speak. So anyway, next thing up is, well, last but not least, Chiron will still be in Pisces, so the fifth house is will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, Scorpio might be going through some emotional wounds and suffering associated with the deception and duplicity in one's love life. It could be by maybe not seeing the fine print with children, with somebody in their love romantic life. It could be over unrealistic things of enjoyment and hobbies. And in some cases too, this could be about dealing with a love slash romantic partner, maybe that is involved in some kind of drugs or alcohol use at this time, recreational drugs and alcohol use, I should say. And really, it could also be about just simply being overly passive in matters of the heart at this time and not acting aggressively enough in those matters or being assertive enough. It also could be about, perhaps in some said cases, the dissipation and dissolving of a romantic relationship at this time, or maybe even something, or maybe just your enjoyment in life in general at this time, or a connection with a child or children as well. So and at the same time, this could also be about maybe being duped in something of a speculative nature, or maybe you were told to put I should say somebody coaxed you into putting X amount of dollars in something, and you thought you were going to get more on your return, or you were going to be this big winner, and really it didn't meet your expectations, as an example. But anyway, this could the only other thing to say about this Chiron and Pisces in fifth house for Scorpio is the fact that, remember, that Chiron is the wounded healer. So in the ways that you could be going through some emotional suffering at this time connected with this, you could actually perhaps be able to help others going through comparable situations, and doing so with a lot of that self-sacrificing, compassionate energy of Pisces, and really with a lot of that Pisces-like empathy as well. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Scorpio March 2018 horoscope forecast. And stay tuned next time where I'll be giving you my Sagittarius March 2018 horoscope forecast. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel, but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.